was a time when multiplayer shooters were brutally simple. No loadouts, no battle passes, no seasonal events. Just you, your aim and arena. Everyone started equal. Same weapons on the map, same movement, same chance. If you lost, it was because someone was better. No excuses. So, what changed? How did arena shooters go from defining competitive gaming to becoming something most players barely recognize today? The answer isn't dramatic, it's casual, and it says a lot about how multiplayer evolved. The arena shooter didn't appear overnight. It grew out of chaos. When Doom introduced deathmatch, players discovered something powerful. Fighting each other was unpredictable. Every match felt different. But it was Quake that sharpened the formula. Movement became skill-based. Maps had height and depth. Weapons had timing. If you knew when the rocket launcher would respawn, you had an edge. If you controlled the high ground, you controlled the fight. And if you mastered movement, you became hard to hit. That was the core idea. Skill decides everything. By 1999, Quake 3 Arena and Unreal Tournament refined it. They removed distractions. No long story modes, no RPG systems. Just maps, weapons and players. It felt clean, focused, honest. Emotionally, this era felt intense. You didn't casually play arena shooters. You trained. You practiced strafe jumping in empty servers. You memorized spawn points until they became instinct. Losing wasn't frustrating, it was motivating. Because you knew the reason. You weren't underleveled, you weren't missing gear. You were simply outplayed. And that clarity created respect. But clarity can also limit growth. If a game demands too much from players, will most people stay? At the end of the 90s, arena shooters ruled PC multiplayer. But the world outside the PC space was going fast. And it would change everything. The early 2000s were the golden age. LAN cafes were full after school. Friends carried towers to weekend events. Cables ran across floors. People shouted across rooms when they won. Arena shooters weren't just games, they were gatherings. They also helped shape early esports. Matches were easy to follow. 2 players enter, 1 leaves with the win. You could see the skill difference instantly. A perfectly timed rocket, a smart dodge, a risky push at the right moment. It felt fair, it felt earned. There was no safety net. If you made a mistake, you paid for it. And that made every decision matter. Health pickups mattered. Armor control mattered. Even sound mattered. Hearing a footstep could save you. But while arena shooters thrived on PC, consoles were becoming dominant. And console shooters felt different. Controllers instead of mice. Living rooms instead of LAN cafes. Couch multiplayer instead of local servers. The audience was going, but the style was shifting. So, what happens when a genre built for precision meets a broader, more casual audience? Something has to adapt, and arena shooters did not. In 2007, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare introduced a new kind of reward: progression. You didn't just play matches, you earned XP, you unlocked weapons, you unlocked perks, you gained ranks. Even in defeat, you gained something. That felt good. Arena shooters offered improvement. Modern shooters offered rewards. Those are not the same. Improvement takes effort. Rewards can be designed. And that design changed player expectations. Now losing didn't feel empty. You could tell yourself, I'm closer to the next unlock. That small shift made multiplayer more inviting, more forgiving, more addictive. Publishers noticed immediately. More players stayed longer. More players meant more sales. More sales meant bigger budgets. And investment followed the money. Arena shooters stayed the same. They remained sharp and demanding. But they didn't add progression systems. They didn't soften the edges. And slowly they became harder to market. It wasn't that players hated arena shooters. It was that they had other options. Options that felt rewarding even if you weren't winning. And that changed the balance. Years later, developers tried to bring speed back. Titanfall introduced fast movement and vertical combat. Doom 2016 pushed aggressive play again. Quake Champions tried to update the formula with unique characters. The gunplay still felt tight. Movement still felt satisfying. But the audience had changed. Players now expected daily challenges, battle passes, seasonal content, regular cosmetic updates. Arena Shooter asked something else: focus, patience, practice. The gap was difficult to bridge. New players often joined, lost quickly and left. Veterans stayed. But the player base remained small. The genre wasn't broken, it was demanding. And in a market built for accessibility, demanding games shrink. The revival attempts proved one thing clearly: the mechanics still worked, but the environment around them was different. Arena shooters rely on balance and fairness. Everyone starts equal. The only difference is skill. Modern multiplayer focuses on retention, unlocks, cosmetics, team roles, ongoing updates. These systems encourage long-term engagement. Arena shooters encourage mastery. These goals don't always align. It's difficult to stretch pure arena design into a live service model without changing its core. And once you change the core, it stops being the same genre. So instead of adapting slowly, Arena Shooter stepped aside. Not with a dramatic collapse, just a quiet shift. They moved from the center stage to the edge. Today, Arena Shooters still exist. Communities remain active. Fans still host tournaments. Indie developers experiment with high-speed combat. But the scale is different. Smaller audience, more focused players, less mainstream attention. And maybe that's okay. Arena shooters were never about mass appeal. They were about mastery. They reward discipline. They reward focus. They reward practice. And that kind of design will always have a home, even if it's not at the center. At their peak, Arena shooters asked one simple question: are you willing to improve? Not grind, not unlock. Improve. That question feels rare in modern multiplayer. But it isn't outdated. It's demanding. And demanding systems don't always dominate. They endure quietly. Arena shooters didn't fail. They were replaced by a different idea of what multiplayer should be. But every time you see a clean rocket jump, every time two players circle each other in a tight map, every time a duel ends 10-9. You're seeing a reminder of when competition was stripped down to its core. Equal stars, pure skill, one winner. The arena may be smaller now, but it's still there. New case files release every Monday, Wednesday and Friday.